Oh my god. Oh my god. Eating some crow. Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back to Talking Pluribus. Season 1, Episode 8. The Charm Offensive. The reaction and recap and breakdown. Wow, what another amazing episode of this damn show. This was probably my favorite. I keep saying that each week, but this definitely was one of my favorite episodes of the show. It's at least one of my 8 favorite episodes of this show, but each episode just keeps building on the next one. I mean, I need to eat some crow right at the beginning here. You know, I hope he's listening. I'm glad I didn't bet a chip, but you know, Teflon's right. I need a bell to ring every time Tony's right. It's just, you know, every time Tony's right, an angel gets his wings. And Tony Teflon was absolutely right. Carol and Zosha, well, we'll get all into it later in the episode, in this full breakdown, and I will be giving Tony his flowers throughout the evening. But wow, we get more Star Trek stuff, technobabble. We get actually a lot of information in this episode, a lot of details. I was flabbergasted with everything that came out of this episode, and good stuff too. We saw a dog. Now I have a dog laying right next to me on my right on the floor. I don't know my left from my right, but I do know this was an amazing episode of Pluribus. Holy shit. Let's get into the live chat. And yes, Tony is usually correct about these things. When it comes to prognostication in television shows and stuff like that, no one has a better batting average than Tony. And I think this again proves it. He was ahead of the game on this one. He knew what was going to happen. He was on the pulse of the people. And I'm giving him the credit he deserves. I'm glad I didn't bet a damn chip, because I'd be eating a hot chip tonight. That's for damn sure. But I'm not alone tonight. I have with me, of course, the live chat. We got Sonic, we got Debbie, we got Ian, we got Drew, we got Jin. I was going to say giant, but Jin, I can read. We got Moni, we got Sandroko, we got Jim. We got Ledness, we got Hobo, we've got Thisby. We've got so many good friends in the live chat right now. Oh, and of course, we have Mark A. Houston, who, just like me, has not been rushing this damn process, and it's paying off. Holy balls on a stick, everybody. We're back tonight, and just so you know beforehand, we will be back, a production note. We'll be back on Tuesday evening. The episode has been moved up, officially moved up. The season finale will air on Tuesday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Time, or whatever time that is where you are watching your show. So make sure you set your calendars right. So now we don't have to spend Christmas night together. Isn't that wonderful? You didn't want to spend your Christmas night with me. You didn't want this gray beard to be playing with your presents, to reaching my hand in your pluribus pie. You didn't want that. And I'm actually happy that they pushed it up for a few different reasons. But we will be live on Tuesday evening at 10:30 p.m. next week. So make sure you make note of that, and make sure you make note of that. And also, I'm not alone here tonight. If you want to call in and leave a voicemail, you can do that right now or any point in time during the show. You can call in at 781-990-8509. Again, that's 781-990-8509. I'll have the voicemail line open all evening long, or text line. If I missed your comment in the chat, you can text that number as well. Or you can email me a voice message if you're out of the country and you don't want to call, at theissuesguy@gmail.com. And I will open the phone lines later for taking calls if anyone wants to actually call in. Joe Dirty Locks did want to join us tonight, but he had a horrible night and a crazy night at work, so he's not here to pee gasoline on our party, but he does send his love to all of you. He got your cards and letters and rocks through windows, and people that wanted to trip him on the street and yell at him, "This show is awesome, butthead." He heard it all, and he appreciates it. He sends his love to you, and if he isn't able to make it for the rest of the season, he will be back for a night of Seven Kingdoms. But let's get it over with again. One more time. I'll be saying it all night, just in case he pops in to listen, and if he is in the chat. Give Tony Teflon his flowers. He called this one on our live stream. In fact, I was arguing. I was no, it's not going to happen. It happened eventually, but it won't happen this season. And I was wrong. I was dead wrong, and I enjoy how it happened in this episode. And I'll get all into this and break this down in a moment, but let's jump in the chat and see what everyone else thought. Yeah, they did. Well, they confirmed the antenna rumor. Better grab a nuke wherever they're building that thing. Ledna says, I could tell they would end up fucking by minute 1. Hello, everybody. Moni says, hey, Maker, if the goal is to save the world and flip it back, okay, we're talking about Mono. We'll talk about Mono in a second here and break down all of him. The email must have filtered me to junk. It must have. Nonfiction. I will look in there and see if you are in spam. I honestly, no jokes, I did not see you. I looked through that thing extensively. I know. I'm gonna miss Joe too, but let's send Joe some love. Maybe he'll surprise us at some point in time with a voicemail. I might be out of town and unable to. Sonic, happy holidays, and I hope you have a wonderful time if you are unable to join next week. Carol was all about getting that info tonight. Was she doing the manipulation too? We'll get that in a second. K-Maker says we all knew Carol will get that pluribussy. Beer Jordan is the best name for a dog. We got Killmonger in the live chat too. We got so many answers in this particular episode. But wow. As I'm getting ready to do the pause to pause in on the podcast, I'm like, wait, okay, we've done my YouTube preamble intro shit. Oh yeah, if you're somewhere, hit a like button, hit a subscribe button, share the shit out. You do the thing, do the shit that you need to do. But yes, here we go. So, we saw the most important thing that I wanted to see in the entire world of Pluribus. Wow, this was a great episode. And what I liked so much about it is we saw answers, and we saw this thing. We saw the thing I wanted to see. I've been talking about this week after week. It's the dog. We saw an actual dog. No, we didn't see dog packs running everywhere. We didn't see armies of cats, as I assumed that we would see. Like Heathcliff in the Top Cats. We didn't see all of that. But we did at least see a dog and get an answer to a question that I definitely had, and a few other big answers that I kind of wanted answered that they just did, where Carol was getting more answers, getting more results from honey. What's that? I'm forgetting what that expression is. You get more bees from honey than poison. Whatever the hell it is. But Carol was sort of manipulating her own situation by getting more information, or we were on the inside a little bit more, so we got more information about different things. So we see the dogs, and they specifically did say if dogs don't want to leave their owners, we don't make them leave, that we let them hang around. I mean, there's some dogs that would just run off and don't want to spend time with their owners. So what happens to those dogs? Do those dogs die and eventually end up turning into pluribus milk? Probably, but at least we get the first part of the answer where we actually saw a dog and what happens to people's dogs that stick around them. Because, as I've said before, you can't see him, but right there's a dog on the ground staring at me because he can't function without me. And if I leave, he starts whining and crying. So even if I am converted, my odors will still be the same, and he'll want to follow me some more. So I do appreciate that we got to see Bear Jordan. You get more flies from honey than vinegar. Thank you, Haymaker. That is the correct expression. When the dog popped on the screen, I thought of you. Good. I'm glad. I hope all of you that have been watching or listening along with us this season, at the moment that dog popped up, actually I popped into your brain. It would make me happy in all the appropriate ways of making me happy. I love her murder writing board. I do too. I like some of the aspects that we get into about how everyone's a fan of her book and getting back into writing her book. And that is a certain part of this episode. That is something, if I want to go on something else that I might have been a little correct about, even though I was incorrect on them doing it tonight, was the fact that she would eventually start writing again, and they would all be obsessed with the idea of her coming back and writing her book. Carol's fighting back, but she ain't Manos. She's not, and the title for next week's episode is an interesting title. It translates to the woman or the world. So I think next week is going to be a very tense situation where Carol is faced with a very difficult choice, and not everyone might end up coming out of it alive. I don't know. We'll talk a little bit towards the end of this show about some of our predictions for the season finale and get your thoughts in the live chat. They're eating cats. They're eating dogs. I bet they are in some way. The smell of those markers Carol uses, there's nothing. You want a little magic marker high? Is that what you're doing? The dog actor was an excellent actor. He's no My Dog Skip Coconuts, but he definitely had some intense acting ability. And Coconut texted a question to our phone chat earlier, and she was asking about was Zosha doing that to manipulate or distract her? Let me see what the actual message was. It says, "Is Zosha trying to throw Carol off?" Yes, I do think so, and I think it's not by accident that the moment where she kisses her is when she is going on and on about, you guys are manipulating me. You're rebuilding my coffee shop. You're setting up the situation, all these different things. And Carol starting to sort of come out of the trance that she's been getting into throughout the episode. At least that's how I read it. There's a certain point in time in the diner where Carol has oh my God, this is a Jean-Luc Picard in the Nexus moment where this is too good to be true. Or when Kirk has a moment like that eventually too with Picard's help, but we don't have to talk about fucking generations right now. But so I think she had a moment where she's like, oh, this is all a little too weird for me. And then Zosha sort of got in her face about it, and they were talking about it, or the Hive did. I'm calling it Zosha, but them, got into a whole big exchange with her about it, and she's like, you're doing this. Where'd you take that? That woman was from another side of the country. She brought her here for play acting, and it was a whole big thing just for me, just for this. Like, what the fuck's your problem? You're manipulating me. You're manipulating my emotions. And in that moment, instead of doing anything else, she decided to, kiss her and mess with that particular situation, just to sort of distract her and get her off balance and handle her, I think, in some way, and realizing what she empathetically needed. She's got a radio antenna that can pick up signals. What are you doing, puppy dog? Sorry, my dog is sniffing around me in an inappropriate way, like I feel like I'm a plurb and someone's sniffing around for some milk. I don't know. We gotta play the Joe voicemail at some point. We will. Let's see if Joe calls back in at some point. Make sure you check this out. Make sure if you're watching right now, you share this out and get it to as many people as you can. If you're listening to the audio cast right now, thank you so much for your support this season. We cannot wait to talk about this season finale. Gary says, I feel something big will happen next week when Manos shows up. My name is Manos. I wish to save the world. It's going to get pretty damn intense. It really is. I have no doubt that things are going to get incredibly crazy next week. And I cannot wait. I'm very excited to see where this goes. Trying a new setting here on YouTube streaming. I don't know if it's working out well, but we'll see. Let's see how we're doing tonight. So we finally got some dog answers. Catching this great show live for the first time, Kate. I was just going to call you Kat. I'm not even going to try to pronounce your name. I'm just going to call you Kate. Kate-Totten? Because you're like, great to check out your show live. Now let me listen to you butcher my fucking name into the existence of hell. But it's great to have you joining us live for the first time, or anyone that's joining us live or on replay on the podcast or on the podcast afterwards. But it's awesome to have you guys live joining me in the chat, because you get to share your thoughts. So if you're listening to this at any point in time, wherever you are, and you want to join us for the live finale, join us at 10:30 p.m. on Tuesday evening Eastern Standard Time, and I will be live. So so much else information that so many other pieces of information came out in this episode. I mentioned a few times they talk about how they communicate with some sort of radio wave, electromagnetic radio wave that connects on a sort of automatic scale that isn't even intentional. I wrote it down. I got a little bit more detailed in my notes, but still really kind of cool. We've also moved on to day 60, so we've moved ahead in time a little bit by the end of this episode when Carol and Zosha just seem to be developed in a basic relationship at this point. Manos is keeping up with his bill. He doesn't want anything for free. He isn't. And that's important that he's making sure that, and they know he cares about that. So they're making sure they keep track of his bill for him, which I think is really kind of fun. And let's see. You want to know what Joe's been thinking about this? Let's get Joe's thoughts in this episode.
God damn it! Well, I've been watching this shit for 5 fucking episodes, and there ain't nothing going on in this shit. When is something gonna fucking happen already?
Joe, I think some stuff happened tonight. This was a pretty intense episode. We learned a lot of information. And the plot of the story moved along a great deal. I'm sorry, I needed to do the quick snack right there. Money is useless. It is useless. This world is not useless, though. This world, these intentions, these vibes in this world that some of these characters are doing in the interactions are so intentionally manipulative. I mean, more than ever now. What do you think, Joe? Really? Do you think so?
I've been watching this shit for 5 fucking episodes, and there ain't nothing going on in this shit. When is something gonna fucking happen already?
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Thank you for allowing me to drink some water, fake Joe. You're very manageable and very easy to work with. The dog thing was a big thing. It really was. For me, it's been something that's been irritating me since the beginning. Like, just a minor thing that sort of was a big irritation. What happened to the dogs? What happened to the dogs that don't want to leave their owners? And you can't just explain that with a quick aside line about, oh, we just let all the dogs off their leashes. To me, that's bunk. And I'm not talking about the amazing character from The Wire. I'm talking about it's bullshit. And I'm glad that they kind of at least address that directly. That's one thing I've really been enjoying about this show. There's certain times where certain things come up and you're like, maybe this, maybe that, maybe something with a wiffle ball bat. And then usually the next episode or a few episodes later, some version of that is explained. I appreciate that. Joe does make some good points. This episode was way better than the last one. We got Daryl in the live chat, and I'm glad you enjoyed this one a bit more, not even a bit more, way more. One thing about this episode in particular, I don't know who directed this one, but this was probably the best directed episode since the first one. And I'm not sure who did the first one. I think it was Vince. I don't know if Vince did this one too, but this was, or someone can look that, or I can look that information up before the end of the show or make a note of it in the description. But whoever directed this episode did an amazing job. Just the way everything was framed together and put together, the tone, the way things were cut was cut a little bit different, a little less emptiness, a little bit more intent, a little bit of the music driving the plot too, and driving the pot. I think I just totally said driving the pot again. Driving the plot and pushing things along and emotionally guiding us and bringing things on a pretty intense way. This episode flowed exceptionally well, and the importance level of it felt higher, at least to me. I'd say, and Debbie, oh Bebby, oh Bebby, oh Bebby, oh Bebby, the amazing Debbie says, and I haven't even mentioned it, the other big confirmation that we get in this particular episode is about the antenna, that what they're doing in the planet that they're from. Where I have it written down in my notes, but whatever it was, or the star system that they have, it's not Gary 7, but whatever. I have it written down, so we'll mention it later. But when they're looking at it through the telescope and they're that there's possibly all ocean there, and they're setting up using all the resources and the energy in the planet to create a big antenna to communicate there or something like that. I forget the wording of it exactly. Again, I have stuff written down. When we get into our recap, we'll break that stuff down and get into it. But I thought all of that was really, again, this show isn't holding back giving us information. It's slapping it across your face, and it's doing a lot of it in exposition. But I was enthralled. I was like, wait, what? Ocean-like people? Tonight was the first episode where I'm like, are we going to get, like, we may never see these people. They're way too far away. We may never get a connection to them. But we're setting up an antenna to do everything we can to make a connection with them to get the hell over here or whatever. Did you read my comment, Phil? I said the scenes flowed well before you said. Oh, awesome. Daryl, great minds think alike. Kepler 22b. Thank you, Debbie, oh, Bebby, oh, Bebby, oh, Bebby, oh, Bebby. In the live chat. Yes, we were looking at the Kepler system, and then the planet that this is from, apparently, is Kepler 22b, but they don't know what those people call it. But that's what they all know it as. And they don't know much about them, but they love them. And they know they love them, and they know they have to spread their happy message like a virus across the universe. Words are flowing out like endless right into a paper cup. Send it across the bloody universe. What are you doing? Sorry, my dog has been freaking out about the banana I was eating, and I feel like he's giving me that Beverly Hills Cop.
Can I get that banana in the tailpipe?
My dog knows dogs were talked about tonight, and he cannot get enough of all of this. Is the Kepler planet? You just heard my Boston accent come out really bad. Is Kepler planet the source part of the chain virus, dude? Someone who asked if there's a second season. Yes, there's already a second season ordered. I've heard the writer's room is just getting kind of going at the moment right now for season 2. Just getting their ideas on the whiteboard, the murder whiteboard. But Huge Bike says, is the Kepler planet the source or part of the chain of the virus? I think it's a source. I could be wrong, but I think the implication of what Zosha was saying to Carol was that Kepler is the source of where all this came from initially. At least that's how I took it, but I also didn't think that Zosha and Carol were going to bang tonight, and Tony Teflon from Teflon TV on YouTube did, so I'm giving him full credit. I have to wear a t-shirt. Tony was right for a week. But maybe other aliens sent the signal to Kepler. I'm guessing Kepler is we got tons of Star Trek stuff. We absolutely did. I'm guessing Kepler 22b is our prime world. That is, I'm guessing that is our main home for our signal. Oop. Hey, everybody. Okay, Carol got mad at the guy for sleeping with the hive mind, and now she's doing it, ... Hypocrite. I'm sure that won't be the discourse this week in the message boards. I'm sure you're not treading on anything that's going to be a hot button issue this week in the message boards, Daryl. Or I can't feel with my mind already all the Reddit posts about this. Honeypot, I'm driving you crazy. I'm in love, but I'm lazy. Kate says, in the first episode, when the man in the TV says there's no aliens in this planet, it felt to me like they also had the memories of the people who sent them here. It did. I didn't even think about that at the time, but you're right. It does make a lot of sense, the way they voiced that, the way they communicated, that they do have that sort of connection to their home planet and the home vibes. And I think it's, again, really interesting and really... It's just a good rapid pace of learning about this information and learning about where this comes from and the name of it and where it is. Dog, can you go lie down, please? Vince said he currently envisions Pluribus running for 4 to 5 seasons. I could see that. And I mean, he said the same thing about Breaking Bad and Saul, I believe, like 3, 4 seasons, and they ended up 5 or 6 or whatever there were. So we'll see where this ends up. this show, I think a lot's going to have to do with what happens in the next couple of episodes. Next episode, I'm going to be very interested. It's going to be very interesting to see where they set this up for future seasons in this next episode, especially with the episode being called "The Woman or the World." I think it's what it's called, which I think will put Carol in a very difficult decision where she'll have to make a choice, and we will see a surprising reaction that we're not expecting that will set the standard for what this show is going to be moving forward. Maybe it's just the memories of the people in Area 51, which they mention in episode 2. I would be happy with 5 seasons. I would be happy with 5 seasons too. I would just be happy with as many seasons as Vince wants to make, because that's what worked for them before, and it should work now. Make it till it organically makes sense to finish it all off. Vince knows the ending, just not everything leading to it. And that's usually how he did. I believe he knew the same thing with Breaking Bad. He knew the final shots. He knew what he ultimately wanted Walt to end up being in towards the end of it all. But how he got there and all the different ways he went about getting there was completely organically developed, right down to Jesse not being killed at the end of season 1 as originally plotted out. There's a lot of stuff like that. I think a Better Call Saul, Nacho was supposed to be a bigger character earlier, and they end up having to push his storyline later because other stuff kept coming up, but they always knew what his storyline was going to be, but they sort of altered course when other things took focus more, when like Kim became more of a focused character than was originally expected. A lot of stuff in these worlds and these 3 shows are figured out as they go, while having the beat points of where they want to take it. And I've also heard Vince say, yes, I do know where things should go, but I also am not against changing it if the organic flow of it seems like it's going in a different direction, unless certain things are ironclad. So things develop as time goes as well. Vince, Carol's Vicario 5 notes are telling us the ending. Interesting, Heather TV. And I have to go back and freeze frame the whiteboard and really read into that. We need to do a full breakdown of what her notes to that have to say. Thank you, Hugh Bike. I'm going to call you Huge Bike because that just sounds funnier. But again, just a packed episode. This episode felt very densely packed with so much stuff that happened. It obviously could be subtitled The First Date too, because most of it just felt like one giant interesting first date of Carol and Zosha. And I think the title was very apropos as well. It's called Charm Offensive, and showing you the charms that these things have and sort of pushing that and the offensive nature. I don't want to be too goofily, I was going to say literate, but illiterate. How Carol's whole morality system of what she's been building up against these things were being broken down by the manipulation. The manipulation is endless and constant, and will Mano be able to break her out of this when she sees another real person that reminds her of her initial mindset of this, but is way more hardcore about it? That's what I'm wondering. It's one of the things I'm definitely wondering. Area code 503 asks, Phil, thoughts on Carol freezing her eggs? I feel like they mentioned that for a reason. I know a lot of people have made speculations that they may use that as some way of turning her. I don't know about that. I do think there could get to a point where something is used with that because they did make a certain point to mention them. I'm not sure exactly how that will manifest itself, but I could see it being something, not nothing. And I know that's a very vague answer, but it was one of the first things that was clearly mentioned, and most lines in a show like this, in a Vince show, aren't throwaways. They all have intentional value, and I think this might have some intentional value. So we'll have to see how that manifests through the end of the show, but you could see something happening with that before the end. even as another way of manipulating Carol. You know, I think so much of this episode showed more of the nefarious side of the Hive. And I'm not saying they haven't shown nefarious before. Joe mentioned that a lot. Tony's mentioned of that a lot too, about how these things can't, ways these things can't be trusted, the manipulation game. But the manipulation game in this episode was even more obvious. It was more blunt. It reminded me a lot of Star Trek. When we get Deep Space Nine, in the spoiler alert for Deep Space Nine, at one point in time, the bad guys take over Deep Space Nine. And a couple of the good guys are left on there. And one of them is Odo. Odo is a part of something called the Great Link, a hive mind situation. Different individuals come out of the hive mind, but they're individuals within the hive and whatever. They do something called linking, where they link together and they can kind of become one. And it's sort of it can be viewed as an erotic experience or a manipulation-like tactic, or a way of sort of bringing you back into the hive consciousness. And I think there was an element of the female shapeshifter manipulating Carol, like Odo in this episode. And it was just blatant and obvious, on-the-nose manipulation. And Carol was eating it up, and I think she knew it, but she didn't care. Let's get into the live motherfucking chat. And Huge Bike says, it's been established that Zosha equals Raban, her character. We've seen this in some of the notes that play out. Raban dies again for real this time. Could that be foreshadowing that Manos kills her in the next episode? It gets into a situation where Manos is like, fuck this thing. We've almost hinted at him almost killing one a few times so far. What if he just straight up does it and it's Zosha? How does Carol react to that? Does Carol run to the hive and beg to be joined? And then the season ends with her trying to join after Manos kills Zosha? Very, very possible something like that. Maybe that's my little speculation, my little Miss Cleo hat for what might happen here. Where is... Anyways, let's not waste any more time. Let's, where did you get the stool with the plaid pants in the back? I want one. Oh, those things in the background. Someone was asking about the stool with the feet thing right there. That was found at a craft fair yard sale thing back in the mid-90s by my mom. It's one of the few things I kept from our old house, just because I thought it was fucking kitschy and stupid and amazing, and I will never not take that with me for the rest of my life. People that are listening to the audio cast, it's a stool with feet and Elvis shoes. It's it's the most ridiculous thing. I'll try to put up a picture of the podcasting notes, but it's quite ridiculous. But I love that damn thing too. She kills him to protect Zosha. I think that could happen too, Killmonger. That's a different way of taking the same sort of situation I'm talking about. That we're going to get a moment like that in this next episode. The title of the episode is, again, an intentional choice of a title of the episode. And Carol and the Hive were fucking with each other mentally, and they fucked with each other physically now, says Daryl. We should all join the Hive, says Ian. He's going to use that box cutter. And, oh my God. So Heather definitely has some serious point. Odo is my small chihuahua. Oh, and Quark is the dog you see running around here is Quark. So your dog and my dog would argue excellently. Your dog would be like, oh, Quark, what are you doing? We got our first super chat of the night. Thank you so much, Shogun. Manos wouldn't kill Zosha. He knows the real Zosha's in there, so he wouldn't kill an innocent human. That is an excellent point, and we've seen him so far make it a point not to cause violence or danger to people if he could, and leave money and leave safety. So he accurately doesn't want to necessarily hurt these things. He just doesn't want any part of them because he's had plenty of opportunities to kill them before, but we've actively seen him make choices not to. Haymaker, look at that damn freeze frame and report here. Sandroko, I don't think Carol really cares about the hive, but maybe she was caught on the manipulation. Carol really cares about the hive, but maybe she was caught on the manipulation. No, we can't lose Zosha. I recreated as a Google Doc. Awesome. Fucking Heather. That is amazing. Manos is totally killing Zosha with his knife. People in the live chat, let me create a poll, and I'll create a poll in the podcast as well. What do you think is going to happen in the finale? I'm going to just give the two choices because I think one of the two things is going to happen. Carol will kill Manos. Manos will kill Zosha. I think one of those two things happens in the finale. I could be wrong, but that's my speculation as of now. And yeah, Manos never yells at them either. He doesn't freak them out. He doesn't. We haven't even gotten to the point yet to see where and if he has the same power ability that Carol has to be able to kill mass amounts of them at once. Gary says, bye-bye, Zosha. Oh my goodness. It is going to be fun to see. Let's see. What happens in the finale, everyone? What happens in the finale? Let's see. I tend to think that Manos is going to... Maybe he'll just try. So I'm going to say try. Manos tries to... Sorry about spelling. Here we go. Zosha. We'll see. Manos tries to kill Zosha. Or Carol tries to kill Manu to protect Zosha. We'll see. Maybe I'm thinking too simplistically. Maybe Carrot tries to kill... And when I say tries to kill Mano, I mean to protect Zosha. Because it's too many words. They wouldn't let me type it all out. I do think one of those two things actually ends up happening. Carol, Zosha, Mano, three-way. That would be the most unexpected outcome. There is no try. There is only do. Carol has fucked Zosha. There was sexual climax and a story climax for Zosha. So it could be the end of her storyline. Zosha isn't a threat to Manos. I hope he doesn't try anything. Interesting. Okay. I probably should have put another option that neither Phil. Don't stop the madness. You're not good at picking things, asshole. No. I could have put something like that. Coin toss 50-50. I do think something intense like that's going to happen. It might not go full on murder bot type situation, but I do think there's going to be some serious tension and some serious, either you come with me or you stay with her. Either she leaves or I leave. It might not quite be murder the case that we get here, but it might be more like it's me or her. Either you get the hive away from us and the two of us are going to work together to solve this fucking thing. I don't want pancakes. Stop making me fucking pancakes. I don't want an omelet. We want them all dead. Does Manos want them all dead? Or does he want everyone back? What is he going to do with the ability if he finds out he has the ability to kill them? We've joked about this a little bit before. Is he going to go full on and try to see how many he can take out? I hope so. Someone's going to die or there's going to be a big fight. Something interesting, huge like that's going to happen. We got Adele in the live chat. He wants them gone, not dead. That is the better way of putting it. I think he actively does not want to kill them. But he will if it means saving them. I think he thinks their being dead is probably better than the state they're in right now. But I don't necessarily know if he wants them dead. Does that make sense? Because I do think if it's like we can't turn them, he would happily murder everybody. But I don't think his intention is to kill all these idiots. It's just to rid them, to do an exorcism of sorts. Honestly, that whole conversation made me hungry for ice cream. This whole episode is making me hungry for ice cream, especially mango ice cream, because that just sounds incredibly awesome. It really does. It sounds delicious to me. I don't always love like fruit ice creams. I'm more of a, chocolate, different versions of chocolate ice cream, but mango is, can't go wrong with that. But you know what you also can't go wrong with? You can't go wrong with the recap! Go over there. Go. Go. Get up there. All right, Jean-Luc Picard. Cisco, J-Wing, Archer. Just sitting in a captain's chair. Heather, it's even more fun having you here, so thank you so much for joining us, and we hope you join us every week. Granted, there's only one more week, but we're here talking about other shows here throughout the year, so that's a lot of hair. Here, there, through the year, everywhere. I don't care. Mayor. Anyone got a peanut? I need it. No more rhymes. I mean it. Anybody got a peanut? Sorry. But... Sorry. Things got a little hectic in that recap. My dog, I knew that was bad. I waited like 20 minutes at the beginning of the show just to calm down the dog after the banana incident. And then I recapped, and now he's amped. He is amped. But thank you, Heather. No, it is. It's more fun. The more people we have in here, new folks, new friends, it makes it even more awesome. And if you ever want to get your voice in the show, you can always call in at 781-990-8509 and leave us a voicemail. Or you can text that number too, or call live if we happen to be going live at the time. Thank you. Good boy, Quark. Here. But this has been an amazing season so far to talk about with all of you friends. And I cannot wait to talk about the season finale on Tuesday night. And we will be doing a lot of off-season streams and discussions about this. I'll try to keep it going, a few throughout the years, as we were going to wait 2 years. We're hoping like early 2027 for season 2 of this. If they're working on it now, the writer's room's cracking right now. Yeah, the earliest we're going to get is probably January, February 2027, late 2026. No, we won't get it in 2026. That's impossible. God, this liquid is tepid. This isn't frozen. This isn't ice cold. It's fucking tepid. I gotta add some more. There we go. Yeah, you don't want that. You want that freezing Gatorade? No, you can have an Adirondack. Mandrell, you are fucking amazing. We got the one and only, the incredible Mandrell in the live chat, one of our good friends, sending you lots of awesome energy for the holiday season, my friend. We will be covering Severance Season 3 when that comes back. I did not do Season 1 and 2 just because I think we were covering other stuff, or I was sort of dealing with some personal health shit during that stretch, but Season 3 of Severance will be back. We'll also be covering the show From when that comes back on dual streams on this channel and Teflon TV. Night of the Seven Kingdoms, the new Game of Thrones spinoff, we're talking about that, and a few other ones. I'll probably do one stream on the final season of Stranger Things after New Year's sometime in that week. Just a quick breakdown of my thoughts on that. But other shows may come up along the way. But I will might be talking about the Scrubs reunion thing when that comes back. But Severance 100% when that returns. So let's get into this recap as I find the spot for the cut for the podcast. Let me break this. Wait, let me do that again. So let's get into this recap. We open up on something blurry and a body's being dragged, and we see drops of blood in slow motion, and the sound editing of this scene is just bloody, pun intended, bloody amazing. It's just creepy. We got a doctor talking to Mano, says he's waking up. He's like, you're on antibiotics, you're gonna be okay, you'll regain your strength soon. He grabs a scalpel. Doesn't hurt the dude, but he grabs him, holds him hostage to get out of there. And they're all like talking to him, blah, 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 blah. Someone hands him the $8,000 bill. This is how much you owe. You're going to be okay. You'll pay it back eventually. And he heads into an ambulance and he's off. And then we flash over to our Carol scene. And Carol's sitting there making a lemonade. She's running water. It's time for the most awkward and weirdly romantical first date of my life. Dunkin' Egg in the next month we'll be doing from his we do dual streams on Teflon TV. Tony Teflon, one of my partners here in this podcasting world, good friend, has been the first person to ever cover the show From. So make sure if you're enjoying that show, you check out all of his coverage. And we do live streams on both channels for the Escaping From podcast, which will be, I think, in March or April, whenever From comes back. So make sure you check out both channels for that if you're on YouTube, or subscribe to the Escaping From podcast if you're listening to the podcast, so you can check out Tony and I's shows. And Tony, for people listening to the podcast, Tony was the co-host on the bonus episode that we had earlier in the season, and he is awesome. So make sure you check out all of Tony's content. Okay, content. I sound like the nerd crew there for a second. You make new content to get content and content. So okay, so it's very shadowy. There's they have this weird conversation about the sweetness factor of lemonade, and Carol doesn't add enough water. It's like awkward first date stuff. Carol's talking about painting, about the painting, and rationalizing about the way talking about this. There's like animals out here. There's like buffaloes, and buffaloes are gonna eat the painting, and I need to take the painting because I'm scared of the buffaloes eating the painting. It's cute chit chat talk. It's pretty interesting stuff. Mano is a stubborn son of a bitch. He really is. The question is, will he be a selfish son of a bitch? Will he be able to think empathetically and think about this in a wider angle at some point in time? How is he going to react to Carol and to Carol's perspective in this world, and how she offers different things? And when he gets more information about the other 12, I think this is going to be fun. I cannot wait to see some of him included into the equation. It just creates necessary conflict and drama. Don't forget about our Kitty Dies a Virgin bet. I will not. You guys are awesome. Okay, so they talk about the painting. Zosha is like, we don't want buffaloes eating the Mona, or Carol says, we don't want buffaloes eating the Mona Lisa, as they awkwardly sip lemonade. Carol's like, I don't know what to talk about. What do we talk about? Do people really put pictures of drinks in the fridge with no top? I don't. I always make it a point to put some sort of plastic top or saran wrap on the top, just in case, because I know that sometimes temperature fluctuation in my particular refrigerator can cause liquid to fall from the top of the refrigerator, and I don't want that liquid in my drinks. But I guess some people do if they have brand new refrigerators. I've seen people put like cups of coffee in the refrigerator to chill it for a while or something like that, but I don't know if they put like a whole picture like that and like leave it in there. Carol's very nervous on her first date. It was a very, very nervous feeling, awkward first date vibe, sexual chemistry, anticipation thing, slow, intentional manipulation tactics by the Hive and Zosha. This was the intention from the beginning. This is why she was sent there. This is why they picked somebody that looks like her fantasy. Because they know once Carol opened the ability to let Zosha in, it wouldn't be difficult. And as I've said since we've saw it, and as Tony and I were talking about on Sunday night, they made it a point to show her on sodium pentothal, say how fuckable she thinks she is, just so this even makes more sense. And they know that. They can pick up on that. And Zosha was picking up on that, picking up on the cues. Not even Zosha, they were. This wasn't a subtle manipulation. This was a turkey shoot. This was an obvious on the nose, we are fucking with you right now. And you can't do anything about it. You need us. Huh. Now you have to drink our shit. Well, I don't want to get into that. No, she's not going to drink the milk. But maybe. Zosha does look similar to her it's even more than that. It's that she looks similar to the character in her book that she designed from a fantasy. So she technically looks like, if you close your eyes and imagine your dream man or woman, and you're like, this is the perfect, body, perfect thoughts. This is what I want. When I close my eyes and I'm watching something or thinking about something, this is who I'm thinking about. They found someone that looks exactly like that. Or looks as close to that as somebody can look. And also within that has all the internal knowledge of her former wife. So knows every trigger. Not just her former wife, every girlfriend she's ever had. And can manipulate her perfectly. It's actually amazing it didn't happen sooner. But Carol wasn't in a place to let it happen. She had too much of her security force up. It wasn't until the breakdown here and the long, slow manipulation. The Hive was flexing Sandrocco. That's a great way of putting it. The Hive was like, well, I'm going to hit this shot. Whoosh. Fuck you. I'm going to hit it again in your face. It was like doing that, like, when you watch those videos, like, well, people say that, Larry Bird used to do to people. He'd be like, I'm going to shoot this ball right in your face off the backboard, and it's going to go in, and you can't do a shit about it. Okay, boom, it's in. She was doing that. Or the Hive was doing that, was calling their shot to Carol, pulling it off, and giving her a little FU giving her a little sass to top it all off. And I am, it was a marvel to watch. You suck, Carol. This was a battle of wits. You can cold brew coffee and tea in the fridge any size. Now you're making me thirsty. Now watch this drive. I used to be great at this game. So they talk about playing a board game. What should we play? Should we play pictograms? No, you're going to know all the answers. Should we play chess? No, fuck no chess. I can't play against the chess masters here. And don't forget, Carol, you're missing a white rook that you lost in 1997. But we'll get you a new one. It's like, oh my God. But no. But how about we play the game you played with your cousins back in the day, Spit. I forget how to play, but I remember playing Spit back in the day. I think I used to play it as a drinking game, but I could be making that up. I feel like mixed in with this game Asshole we used to play as a drinking game, I have a memory of playing Spit. This is one of those moments where I wish Joe was here. He would have better memory for this shit than me. So and she starts the manipulation or the flirting or the way the Hive is interacting with her evolves, gets into not just glazing you. She actually can get into playful, to use a Borg term, Debbie, my fellow Star Trek nut out here. They're adapting. They're assimilating. The Borg's assimilating here. They're understanding the ways to reach Carol and the better ways of reaching her. They suffocate her from human contact or, whatever, creature contact. And now they have her in a very vulnerable state. And they don't manipulate her just with kindness. They also know that fucking with her works. A certain level of teasing flirting. That kind of flirting works really well with Carol. And they're assessing that and they're using it. And it's a lot of fun to watch the way the Hive is adapting. And I'm not becoming a fan. I'm still on Team Carol and Mano. Kill these people, kill these things. But it's very fun and a very unique experience to watch as the Hive develops and combines and adapts to their situation here when interacting with Carol. And the way that they've gone about it, this very systematically breaking her down, point for point for point. And it's also, killing her with kindness at times. It's, giving her the hammer or the candy or something like that. There's another expression I don't know yet, but that I'm not quite quoting correctly, that I have somewhere in my head, some sort of idiom or some sort about kindness and violence and meanness. And they're sort of breaking her, but also showing her overt happiness and kindness, and it's expert level, it's epic levels of manipulation. It really is. I think we're ultimately all down to Team Bear Jordan, Sonic, you boy. Let's see what else. I heard more recent that Carol. Ooh, interesting. A lot of cool stuff is happening here, and the debate on what Carol did and what that means is going to be permeating all week. Okay, so they play spit. They're going back and forth. They're having some fun. They talk about how everyone is coming back to town and within the hour. Carol asks them if they can clean up the paint or the wherever she wrote, please come back. And Zosha's like, and she tells Zosha, you can go. Zosha's like, I can stay, if you want me to stay. She's like, do you want to stay? Well, if you want me to. But she goes. And she's getting ready to go. And Carol asks, where do you guys live? Like, what? Like, do you all have houses? Like, what's going on? Another question we've been asking for weeks. Where do they go? Where do they live? And they don't have private property. They all are in an arena sleeping together. Like, the whole city is all piled into the Astrodome. Or it's not the Astrodome, but what's the where do the Cardinals play? Is do the Cardinals even exist? I don't even know. I'm like dating myself. But they're in some giant football stadium. Or arena of some sort. I could, in my memory, I can't remember if it was like an open top football stadium or a closed top arena. I think it was a closed top arena of some sort. Should I stay or should I go now? Bear Jordan, that was Quark's favorite character, my dog Quark's favorite character. Agreed. Not sure if they fully succeeded in the manipulation. That's the thing, Sandroko. How much was Carol just playing 4D chess, as they say, or like in poker terms, like an idiot in poker or a donkey in poker, for instance, will usually act weak when they're strong when they're weak. And that's like the basic thing. It's like an improv, yes and, the basic thing in poker. Someone will act strong when they're weak when they're strong, if they don't really know what they're doing. So, but if someone knows what they're doing, you have to assess, do they know that Ferris passed out at 31 Flavors last night? You have to really sort of think it out. Like, are they thinking that I'm thinking that they think that I think? Like, you have to sort of date back, like really look at how they did it and assess their whole story to see if bullshit alarms fire off. And then you can kind of put them on a hand. Could Carol have been playing poker here? And playing poker? Horrible, bad joke. I can hear everyone turning this off out simultaneously. No. But was she using it as her own version of a manipulation and sort of one-upping the Hive's manipulation? And doing all of that, yes, to get the human contact that she needs, because why not? But also to get the information that she needs and to learn more, to assess, to find out more information, to almost be a mole, to get on the inside, to know where all these things are sleeping now, to understand more about where they're from. Like, she found out more information in this episode than she has on her own, being like an us and them vibe. So it could have been that she's assessing doing this. Yeah, I did this. Fuck, I was drunk and I fucking fucked her. But I should use this as an opportunity to learn stuff or take advantage of the situation, like the guy in Air Force One is. So he's taking, why not? Why can't I do it too? I can do two things can be true at the same time. I can try to save the world and enjoy my dream girl that has the memories of my fiance or my wife. I can't remember if they were already married or about to be married. Like it. So I can see where there's maybe some extra levels of manipulation here going on. Liquor in the front, poker in the rear. Hey-o. Take my wife, please. Hey, maker. I imagine you as some like old school, Jackie Mason comedian. Hey, liquor in the front, poker in the rear. Hey, yo, whoa, whoa, whoa. Do they shower? They have to. I mean, we saw Zosha shower at some point earlier in the season when she was cleaning up for Carol, so I assume they do. At least when they are going to interact with any of the 12. Because they want to present the best case expression for yourself. So I bet Zosha showers daily before she sees Carol. But she showered just because she was meeting Carol. I wonder what that many people sleeping do they get? That's a good question, Simon. And I didn't really answer that part of it. I answered your qualification instead of your actual question. Do they shower on their own? I don't know. I think on their own, by their own instinct, they would probably say not to shower because it's not energy optimal. It's a waste of energies. And the all energy needs to be dedicated towards building the antenna and saved energy. So using any hydropower for water shower purposes would just be a misuse of appropriations. Water should be for consumption and for other intangibles, but not for that showering. At least that's what I would assume. Maybe they bathe in bodies of water. Like they bathe in fresh water or something like that. Like lakes and ponds and shit because they exist anyway. But maybe they wouldn't because that might kill microorganisms. So I would, if I was a betting man, I would say I'd bet that they don't shower on their own. They shower just to smell better for the 12, the 13 people that they interact with. Holy shit, another super chat donation. Thank you, Shogun. I feel like they successfully manipulated her almost. If it was Carol's long play, why did she have the long pause of realization in the... If it was Carol's long play, why did she have the long pause of realization in the cafe then? Good point. If she was playing a long game, she wouldn't have sort of had an aha moment where she's like realizing, oh my God, I've been drinking this fucking Kool-Aid. They're getting me. I'm losing my individuality like she did. Or this is all just a bit too good to be true. And it's too much. So that is a fair point. I think it's more likely that she's not tactically doing this. She's getting lost in it. And she had the realization. She might have more realization. I think in the way that we've seen things early to symbolize things that happen later, I think we saw her have that moment in the cafe to make it more believable when later on she goes with Mono or decides, fuck Zosha, fuck the Hive, I'm on this team. But maybe not. It could very well go in another direction like that. But I do think you make an excellent point, Shogun, that if it was a double side manipulation on Carol's part, she wouldn't have had that aha moment. And even in the moment when she's sending Zosha away, when Zosha kisses her, that was her like, no, fuck you, I'm done with this moment. And Zosha sort of upped the manipulation with the physical contact in that moment because that was the escalation from the hive, not Carol doing what she could to use that as a manipulation for herself. Or, yeah, against them. It was actively, you could tell it was the hive going, okay, to
Move to DevCon 2.
Kiss her. And they moved right to DevCon 2 and they kissed her. So, yeah. So I think you make excellent points, Shogun. Excellent. I think they fail on complimenting her on the writing. I think Carol hates her own books. I think that's an excellent point too, Sandroko. I think we've seen several points throughout the series since the beginning that she thinks Wicario's crap. And I think that might be one of the things that brings her back out of it when she rereads what she wrote and she's like, this is crap. And they love it. Ugh, that says a lot. They weren't married. Okay, they were engaged / just boyfriend, girlfriend. But that was a great observation, Shogun. I'll be sexing Zosha while I save the world, writing my novel, says Haymaker. And in this episode, there was a man taking off his clothes before going into bed. So maybe there is some level of individual comfort. That's another thing we found on this episode. I haven't got to that yet in the conversation, but we figure out that there is individual comfort within the hive. I think they ask that question, like is everyone getting this massage? Does everyone feel what you're feeling? As a way of rationalizing the sex later. That it isn't to ease Carol's mind that she's not having sex with the world. Even no more so than she did before with everyone having the knowledge of Helen. Like, she's not giving pleasure to the world right there. Individual pleasures, unless the hive was lying, individual pleasures like that exist within the body. The hive can be aware of it, but not actually feel it. And I have the verbalization of it written down. We'll get to that in a moment. Sonic, your boy, George is getting upset. I was grateful for the massage scene. Me too. And I think it's very important to how we learn about how these things receive and feel pleasure and sort of dictate information. That was some of the biggest pieces of information I like that we got in this, the radio waves and how they communicate, and finding out about the individual temples, the houses, that a massage is a massage. Like, you only feel it. If someone is impaled on a fence or whatever happened, not everyone's feeling that. Why carry? Yeah, that was the code name before people knew what the show was called. If the Wicario was and people thought when they started to figure out what it was about, what the show was about, they were convinced that still was the name, and that exactly like why care, Wicario. So boom chicka bum bum. I just love bald men. Okay, they all show them sleeping in an area together, all held together. It's more efficient for heating and such. Carol asks if this will turn into an orgy like the Matrix, and Zosha gives her a, well, do you want an orgy, Carol? That was so the vibe. It's like if Carol had said, yeah, let's turn this into a party. It's before we know it, the porno music would have played, and it would have turned into a party in their pants. So Carol gives a really look, and so she's like, ha ha ha, just kidding. But no, not kidding. That would have turned dirty in a heartbeat. So, and here we go. Doggy poo runs up to Carol. I had to double take for a second. I'm watching, doing my notes like this. This is an example of me watching. Ooh, I'm balding. No. Ah! Wait. Is that a dog? Puppy? Puppy? So the dog comes up. Carol asks the question I've been dying to ask. Is the dog one of them? No. This special little guy is Bear Jordan. We get a total Matrix reference, which is is that our first Matrix reference? We've got a bunch of Star Trek ones, but I think that's our first Matrix one. I'm surprised we haven't got a, do you want to take the blue pill or red pill line? I think the best part, we get to the best part of this episode, and I don't think it's close. Bear Jordan. I mean, amazing name for an amazing dog. But Bear Jordan is not in the hive. I thought it was going to be a puppy snuggling with Carol, not Zosha. That would have been an even better part of this episode. There's no nudity in this program. This side, we got the little side butt in 2 episodes ago, I think. They don't keep pets, but if they refuse to leave the owner's side, they take care of the animals. Isn't that nice? So, can they feed the animals? I guess dog food's already made. But what would happen if they ran out of all the dog food and they need to make more dog food? Would they would feed the dogs the milk, right? They'd feed the dogs the human stuff. That's probably what they feed them anyway. Yeah. Gross. I was just feeling good about this dog thing until you realize that they're probably feeding the dogs the human remains too. Which should have been Carol's follow-up question. What do you feed the dogs? Do you feed the dogs your fucking weird human parts milk product? Yeah, they do. They feed the dogs HTP. Of course they do. Of course they fucking do. Okay, so they ask her if she wants to sleep over, and she can call her mom and ask for permission, and she's like, "No, I don't want to sleep over." They definitely feed the fucking dogs the fucking HTP. Mono eats the dog. Yeah, Mono is eating all the dog food. There's no dog food left. Mono ate it all, and they dumped out the rest to put fucking human HDP in the fucking dog food bags. So all the dog food's gone. So they must be feeding the dogs HDP. Damn dirty hive. So Carol goes and pets the doggy. And then they cut when they make it look like Carol's leaving, and they cut, and Carol's got her arms around Zosha. And this was the moment I knew I was in trouble with Tony. I'm like, uh-oh. And they pan out, and she's cuddled with all of them. She's spooning Zosha. Zosha drops her off the next morning, and we have that awkward at the end of the first date sort of vibe. Well, I had really a lot of fun with you. I had really a lot of fun with you too. Do you like breakfast? I can make you breakfast. Okay. And she's like, no. And Carol runs out of the car like, oh my God, what's happening? I'm falling for Zosha. So Carol heads home to her whiteboard for the cure and her Ycario whiteboard, and she moves it all around, and she writes down what she knows, and she runs down again. They eat people. And she underlines it again because she's trying to talk herself out of wanting to fuck Zosha so much. Or be intimate. Or be in a relation, get to know Zosha on a deeper level. So we cut off to a beautiful desert landscape mountain place. This is just that stuff that... Like, we got one of those shots in this episode that you're just like, yeah... Vince Gilligan's whole team is like watching a Coen Brothers movie sometimes. Just the landscape, the way they shoot landscapes, the way everything looks there. Just a beautiful, awesome landscape. Let's go in the live chat for a second. We got Miss Maud 3460. Manos, that's good as money, sir. Those are IOUs. See? Hospital. Might want to hang on to that one. I thought that was hilarious that he hung on to that one, or he's leaving IOUs everywhere. It's just a funny sort of situation. It shows how good of a doobie he is, but with the medical stuff, she shouldn't have to pay that. Socialize that hive healthcare right there, motherfuckers. If Mono runs out of cash, how is he going to siphon enough gas to get to Albuquerque? It's true. He might have to use the hive to pump some gas there, but I don't think he will. And he doesn't have the suction power anymore to fill that thing. I assume they brought him somewhere relatively close, like he's pretty damn close at this point. The whiteboard is key, both of them. Check out that whiteboard. We need to freeze frame and get into that whiteboard. I'm having an awesome time, guys. What if they have goldfish? Do they set them loose in a lake? And they get bigger, right? Don't they? Don't goldfish get bigger if you put them in a lake? Is that a myth or is that a fact? Did Mythbusters do that? Can you put if you put fish like goldfish in a big pond, they become giant goldfish? He better be Sandrocco. He's leaving a lot of IOUs around the world. Love me, Zosha, you love me. Oh, they're still in Panama. Okay. So he's got a while to go. So yeah, he needs to siphon off more gas. So yeah, he's still got an awful long drive. So they're still in Panama. I thought they might have brought him a little further north, but nope, I guess they just left him in Panama. They brought him to the closest hospital. But yeah, just great view. They're just having a really connective moment looking at the landscape. And they see the train, and Carol says, why do you still need trains? And she's like, to move food around, different supplies. Excuse me. And Carol starts talking about how she thinks that the train siren is the loneliest sound in the world. And she says, I must have said this to a human sometime in my life. You probably know this. And you should see the look on Manipulation Zosha's face. No, I did not know that. I'm learning something new about you. Oh. And it's just this, oh my good. She's a lamb to the slaughter of Zosha's manipulation tactics. The Hive is killing her here with every master manipulator left in the world. You're working at top effort to manipulate Carol here. It's silly how easy this is for Zosha when she gets on the playing field. Carol asks how they all communicate. And she says they communicate with an electromagnetic like filed waves, like a radio wave. But it's kind of like breathing. It's homeostatic. Like it's not like an active choice. It's something that's just a natural way that all information is contained and shared. I'd have to listen to that scene again to get the exact wording of that, but still more information about that than we had before. Gary says, yes, goldfish can significantly grow larger if you take them into a lake, a pond, compared to staying in a small aquarium or bowl. Thank you. I've always heard that or thought I heard that, but have no facts to back it up. So now I'm going to use Gary as my empirical evidence to back that up. Just because as long as I hear it from a second person, I'm like, yeah, I didn't make that up, because I do have an awfully big imagination. So she is like, yeah, Carol's like, I don't understand, but I guess whatever. Oh, no, she said, I don't understand why you need trains. I already said food distribution. And Carol's like, oh, yeah, sure. So they go off to getting massages. Carol is moaning. It feels so good. And she's like, ask Zosha, does it feel good? Like, how's this work? You're giving yourself and me a massage at the same time? Like, does that even feel good? Or are you massaging yourself? Like, what the fuck is going on here? Does everyone feel this right now? And this is the foreplay for the sex scene. And what I mean by that is answers the question of whether Carol had sex with the world before she has sex. So they were smart to put the scene in here just to kind of institute this information so we know how and where sort of sexual energy and that kind of stuff happens. Now, I'm just curious, Joe, how are you feeling about this episode right now? Like I kind of need you to tell me what's up, Joe. Like, is this any better for you tonight?
God damn it. Well, I've been watching this shit for 5 fucking episodes, and there ain't nothing going on in this shit. When is something gonna fucking happen already?
Yeah, I know, Joe. I understand. But again, I think lots happened tonight, man. I really wish, like the Grinch, your soul was warmed a little bit, because I feel like there's so much and so many entertaining moments and so much incredible texture to every beat of this show that I feel bad that you're missing out, Joe. But thank you for talking to the people so I could take a sip of water. Zosha wouldn't have had to try to get me going, says Daryl. She had sex with the world, so did they fake it? We got Jump in Slash in the live chat who says, huh? Sorry, I needed to take a sip of water, so I played a random voicemail from my co-host who isn't here tonight, who's retired for the rest of the season because he's not feeling the show. I realize that some people might be joining us for the first time, and they're like, who is this Joe? Why is that message relevant? What the fuck are you even talking about? I had a co-host for some of my recaps here. He is not feeling the same way about this show. And that is one of our callers last week doing an impression of him that I was just basically playing so I could have a moment to drink some water. The mythical Joe. Yeah, Phil is, I'm just going to talk about myself in the third person for a second. Phil is thirsty. These pretzels are making me thirsty. I talk a lot. Every 45 minutes I need a sip of water. Okay, so he really does. And in all jokes aside, I talked to Joe earlier tonight. He really wanted to come on tonight, but he had a horrible night at work and he's still feeling under the weather. So he sends all of his best and all of his love to all of you guys, and he misses you and he wishes he could join us tonight. He really does. She had sex with one body with the world watching. Gary, that is the best way, or sort of the moment it was done, Zosha is attached to there's like two-way glass that everyone was watching, or she's in the locker room telling all of her friends. Yes, Edward Martin. That is a good subtitle for his name there. So we speak your name. We love you, buddy. We do. I love him too. So she asked, does the whole world feel like it's getting a massage? And she's like, no. Because in like the last 10 minutes, there's like 965 births, about 1,500 deaths, and a man in Bulgaria got impaled in a fence. But he's okay. We know it, but we don't feel it. So again, the whole world will know we have sex, but they won't actually feel it. So we're aware you got goosebumps right there. So they're also aware and tapped into Carol, even though she's not actually part of the hive. They can also feel her emotions, which is probably why she's tapped in enough to be able to kill them with negative emotions. So because she taps into their radio waves, which probably means Mono can do it too, and all the 13 people can do it. They all can sort of target those radio waves with negative energy to sort of stall them or kill them or do whatever. And I think you saw a tease of that later in the episode when Zosha pauses when she's like, you have a guest coming. Like the energy that Mono's putting out there hurt the hive for a second. But yeah, only the body feels it. Only the lonely. Okay, so we're aware of your goosebumps, but we don't feel it. But this massage feels fucking good. So then we get into more actual important information, facts that we needed to know. We find out where they came from. They're looking through a telescope, and she's trying to point out where they're from, or where the virus came from, where the RNA thing came from. So they're pointing it out. It's Kepler 22. Actually, it's Kepler 22b. That's the planet where it came from. We don't know a lot about it, but we think it might be a whole ocean. We're not sure. We're trying to picture it. We just know it's home. Carol's like, not sure. I'm looking at the right spot. I can't seem to find it. I'm just seeing a lot of lights. And then Zosha does a pimp manipulation flirt moment. She some kind of wonderful Eric Stoltz move where she just shuts off where he's on a date with Amanda Jones, and he shuts off the lights. She shuts off the lights for the city, and everything glows in this very interesting dark red kind of vibe. And now she can find it. She can see it, and she's happy. She asks what the people are like on Kepler 22b, and she said, and Zosha's like, well, they're too far away. We're never going to really know too much about them, but we know that we love them. And we know we have to pay it forward, the gifts that they give us, and spread our dirty disease to multiple worlds. And Carol's like, you mean like out there in space? Mm-hmm. We need to assimilate this entire planet and move on to the next planet. Isn't that wonderful? Okay. But again, they straight out admit it. I love how confident this this is the most confident hive ever. You know, they're just like, I mean, yeah, the Borg are pretty confident. Resistance is futile. You cannot stop us. We will take all of your everything you have as a joke. But they're basically copycatting that. But they're doing it with a smile. You know, everything about you is going to become part of us, and then we're going to go on to the next planet. Isn't that special? And they turn into the church lady. Now, isn't that special? You know, like, come on. I would ask them to adjust my back like a chiropractor. They would have all the best chiropractors in the world. The whole world smoked a cigarette after they were done. Ian says, Kepler-22b is an exoplanet orbiting within a habitable zone of the sun-like star Kepler-22. It's located about 640 light years away from Earth in the constellation Cygnus. Cygnus? Ian, thank you so much for that factual information about this place. That we know that there's weird octopus-like creature there's Zoidbergs. Well, I'm going to say it's a planet of Zoidbergs that have sent this virus. Like a crustacean planet of Zoidbergs. I think that's probably the most logical thing of who sent this virus. We will die, but the radio waves will live on, especially once they build that tower or the antenna that they need to build, Edward, which is the goal. Use all the human power you can, all the energy you can to build that tower, to make the connection, to create the synaptic sense thing or whatever, to create all the planets line up and all the, the antennas connect into a thing that, like a fence, whatever, like a fence of manipulation that sends throughout the universe and sends this message to every corner of space. I'm sorry, that's Dr. Zoidberg to you. I'm guessing this is definitely a planet of crustaceans. Okay, so yeah, Carol's in alternate space. Okay, so then we cut. And, oh, thank you so much, Texter. And they're building a giant antenna. And they're using all the power in the world to send a signal to Kepler-22b. How? And the music at this particular point in the episode, the only way I can describe it is defeat. It sounds like Carol is just in ultimate defeat. Like she's ultimate adaptation. She's been adapted to the hive and she's, okay, I am involved now. Like, just the way the music sounded in this moment just very much felt like it was Carol surrendering. Heather says, I get big expanse vibes about the virus. It's a self-preserving signal sent out to everywhere, and then it adapts to the planet it lands on. Ooh. Very cool. And I feel like this was, out of every episode that we've had so far, this was the most, this is the most science fiction episode that we've had so far. This is the one that feels the most like it's embracing its science fiction roots. I mean, we've seen other elements. Obviously, this whole thing is elements of science fiction, but this episode felt very science fiction to me in a really great way. Like they were finally, okay, let me write it on my t-shirt. We're full on science fiction. Are there ads in the live chat? Oh my God. I'm so sorry. You don't realize believe me, that's not my choice. So she asks for a favor. She asks for, so she runs home and she starts working on her board again and writing some stuff down, and she's resigned to this world. And her pen runs out of ink. She writes on the board. They are building a giant antenna and want to use all the power in the world to send a signal to Kepler 22b. I misread my notes there. She writes on the board that. And then she starts to write how, but she runs out of ink. And the music in the scene sets up like a defeatist sort of like she's trying to fight her last breath to be able to stay engaged in trying to stop these things. But she calls up, and we don't get the Howard message. We actually, no more Howard Hamlin hotline, unfortunately. And she asks for more Sharpies. And they ask her if she's writing again, and Carol's like, what? Oh, Waikato. Yeah, sure. That's what I'm doing. And Zosha in the Hive light up. They're like, oh my God, you're writing again, Carol? A new Waikato book? We love your writing. And she's like, huh? And then people in the background go, congratulations on writing again, Carol. She comes inside. She looks at her notes for her new book, her new Waikato book, which now, because of what Heather's saying, I really want to go back and look at and see what it said. I was ignoring it in that moment. And she slides it away and she picks up her murder board again. She finishes her thought. So we go to another date between Zosha and Carol. They're playing croquet, and Zosha's kicking her ass. And we talk about something that I talked about last week about musical instruments and muscle memory. And Carol is like, do you all share muscle memory? Like, am I fighting the greatest croquet players of all time? Do you have the muscle memory of all those people? Or are you just Zosha with the knowledge of it? And she's like, well, I'm kicking your butt. And, well, I'm going to kick 7 million people's butt. And they have this flirty game back and forth. But I do think it's funny that they mentioned that, which is something we were talking about here last week about the muscle memory thing. So she asks Carol, and this is when, again, the Hive gets more proactive in their manipulation. She asks her, what was the best day you've ever had writing? And she goes, that's a weird fucking question. That's an awful question to ask a writer. You mean, what day did I not want to kill myself while I was opening up my veins for my art? Okay, George R. Martin. Poor tortured artist. Why are you asking? So she brings her to an old restaurant where she used to write like her first book. It's been closed for years. They have an awkward sort of old date where they talk about her writing and about her nightmare like folder that she used to bring in there. And the waitress used to let her just work on her stuff all day long and not bother her about it. This was her happy place. And days that she worked here were her best days writing. And her waitress was awesome. And then she turns and that waitress is right there. And she's like, the music suddenly changes. It gets boom, boom. It gets a little weird as we start focusing on what's really happening here. And Carol goes, wait, this place burned down. You rebuilt it? What? And she's like, I miss all those days. But she goes quiet. And Zosha's like, is everything okay? And Carol's like, the fuck this. The music changes and she heads out of there and she drives home and starts drinking alone. Zosha drives up to her and she's like, what's up? Are you doing okay? And Carol's like, I'm doing fucking peachy. And Zosha's like, oh, sarcasm. That's good. It sounds like me talking to somebody. Is that sarcasm, Phil? Yes. Ugh, fucking asshole. Excuse me. Thank goodness for the cough button. So they talk and everything is peachy, sarcastically speaking. She asks Zosha if she wants a drink. And Zosha's like, if you want me to drink. No. Do you want to drink? Does Zosha want to drink? No. Will it kill you to say the words I? And she goes, well, I've this was a fun sort of moment where Zosha's having trouble saying it. And she's like, well, we have trouble. It just feels very odd to say we. And Carol has a funny line where he goes, all the brains in the world, you can't figure out the goddamn pronoun game. Funny line. So she asked her where the waitress was living on joining day. And she said she's really recently moved far. She moved far away. She was recently engaged, yada, yada, yada. Carol's like, so you moved your back here to do some weird fucking waitress theater? Like, what the hell? And you rebuilt that place? That's weird. It's fucking weird. We're just trying to make you happy, Carol. What's hurting you? And you're hurting me because you're trying to distract me. You're manipulating me. You've got this extra joy for my writing. You're telling me I'm awesome. It's manipulative. It's manipulative bullshit, and fucking stop it. Because you know I won't give up. You know I won't give up, right? And Zosha's like, I know you won't give up. But we really do love Wycario. And Carol says, I like a lot about what's going on with you guys, but it's all fucking bullshit. You know, I like you, but you're fucking psychos. You can't pick apples, you can't eat, you're useless. You know, like some of the shared consciousness stuff's okay, but you're a manipulative, idiotic fucking species. What the fuck? Even if it means I'm alone forever, I can never deal and embrace you people. And just as she's about to leave and just tell her to fuck off, Zosha grabs her and kisses her. Carol stops, looks back, and then they make out hard. Like she leads into it. It's the completely feeding into the emotion. I talked about it last week, where you're getting that sense of completion, or like all the emotion coming together at once. And it really took place here in this moment too. They kiss and they have sex, and I owe Tony cash. No, I don't owe Tony cash, but I owe Tony some props. And Carol is writing again the next morning. She has chapter 1 done of the new Wycario book. She wrote it, and they're talking about it. They talk about the book. It's all fun talk. She loves it. She loves it. Then we flash to 60 days later, and they're just a full-on couple. They're having breakfast. They're making omelets. They're having favorite food. They're joking about mango ice cream. They're having a good discussion. It's beautiful. It's wonderful. They're sharing moments. It's happiness. And then suddenly Zosha stops like this. You have a guest coming. And then we flash over to Mano, who's bandaging himself up, gets in the ambulance, and drives towards Carol to arrive next episode. And that is our episode of Pluribus. Wow. Again, this was one of my favorite, if not my favorite, of all the episodes of the season. I think each episode just keeps getting better and better, and the world keeps opening up more and more. And that's the best part about this. Just no matter what, we keep finding out and figuring out more about this particular world. And it keeps expanding, and they keep giving us more answers, not asking more questions. Yes, there's more questions that organically come up over time, but for the most part, I think what this show has done is set up stuff this season and almost answered every question you would possibly have, at least for me. Let's get into the live chat here. We'll take your live chat questions and comments here, and if you want to call on in, now is the time, 781-990-8509. If you have any comments or questions, or you just want to say hi, you can call on in at 781-990-8509. Join the discussion. If you're listening to the audio podcast and you want to get some thoughts in for the season finale, you can call that number 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and leave a voicemail. But for right now, the phone lines are actually open. Feel free to call in if you would like. Stay on for a little while longer. Take some of your questions and comments in the chat section, and we'll wrap this up. And this is a short week. I will be back on Tuesday night at 10:30 p.m. to talk about the season finale. I'm going to try to bring a guest on with me on Tuesday night. I got to see if he's available, but I will find out soon. He did say be available, but that was when I thought it was on Christmas night, so I have to make sure that he has Christmas Eve off. So I don't want to keep them up late on Tuesday night, but I will definitely be here alone on Tuesday evening for the finale. But I will be working to try to get us a guest to join us. So let's get into the live chat. went from 43 to 60 days that they're together in a kind of couple mode, which really showed how much Carol has been ingrained into this. And when Mano shows up, how much it is going to be for her to give up to go back to the other situation. In Mexico border, right across the way. Since they helped Manos, but they didn't try to change him, I think there may be a little bit more trusting with Carol. I think so as well. That could possibly be a situation. Let's see. I think we have a call. Area code 626. Welcome to the show. What's your name, where you calling from, and what's your question or comment?
What's up, Phil? It's John Haymaker again.
Hey, John Haymaker. Great to hear from you, buddy. What's up, my friend?
I guess you know these crazy theories that Zosha was pregnant with Carol's baby.
Yeah, I saw that.
Did you hear about that?
I did. I think that's ridiculous.
They got like her frozen eggs and fertilized them in front of Zosha. Like, where the hell did they get that from?
I don't know. I think a lot of it came from the image of Zosha when she showed up at the end of the last episode. She was wearing like a bigger, baggier sweater. So people are like, she looks pregnant. She's pregnant.
They got a baby bomb.
Yeah, and then they were saying maybe she got pregnant by Diabati's, like the Air Force One guy, like got her pregnant or something like that. Like there was like every theory in their mother that
Kumba.
Yeah, it's Kumba. But it was like that he's pregnant, he made her pregnant or something like that. It's come on, I think it was just like the wind blowing and the way her shirt was sitting. But I think that's a credit to this show and how everyone's looking for every little thing to try to pick some piece of kernel up to be like, oh yeah, see, she's pregnant. I figured it out. She's pregnant.
Yeah, everybody has a damn conspiracy theory.
It's true. But then for every situation like that, I was fucking wrong and Tony was right. They totally did have sex.
Yeah, well, that was kind of obvious from the beginning. Like,
I know. I feel so stupid. I just didn't think it was going to happen so soon.
Yeah, you didn't have to be Kreskin to figure that out.
I know. I feel so stupid. I don't know if you were in the stream the other night, but I feel so stupid. I was like, no way it's happening. No freaking way it's happening. I just didn't think it was going to happen.
I said she wanted the pluribusy, you know? Mm-hmm. Gotta have the pluribusy.
Exactly.
I mean, she can't be alone that long without any pluribusy.
I know, especially when someone looks like your dream woman. It's like if someone designed someone to look like Marissa Tomei and knocked on my door. It's not like I could say no.
Nah, I wouldn't say no to her either.
No, who would?
Yeah, I always had a thing for her since that one movie, Slums of Beverly Hills.
Yep. My cousin Vinny too was fucking great, you know.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, you boys.
Oh yeah, you boys. Oh God, everybody knows what it's like getting stuck in the mud in Alabama. Anyways, John
We're
Haymaker.
famous for our mud.
Yeah, exactly. You're the best, my friend. Thank you so much, Haymaker.
All right, wait. I always want to say this to you.
Yep.
You're wicked smart.
Oh, you're looking smart too, dude. You're fucking awesome, dude.
No, I'm retarded.
Dude, you're fucking awesome, dude. Fucking A, man. John Haymaker, the best. Great to call it. Great call, my friend. And anyone else that wants to call in, please do. 781-990-8509. Thank you to everyone that's been calling in tonight. You guys are incredible. Or calling in all season. You guys are incredible. And I'm looking in my spam. No spam. Spam? You have spam. Yes, that it's difficult to me that she even is Aunt May. Zosa just drank 4 cartons of human milk. But that's the thing. I have a question. If they're living together essentially from day 43 to day 60, if they're dating, we see Carol making her breakfasts and stuff like that. Is Zosha not drinking HDP because Carol's making her food? She's picking apples for her. She's like, is HDP only for the mass members of the hive? The people that are the chaperones of the individuals? Are the individuals probably preparing food for them so they don't have to eat HDP? I know that seems like a trivial thing, but I'm wondering. It seems like she's probably living with Carol and Carol's sharing her food. And if they order the food for Carol and Carol's getting her food and making food, making eggs, plucking apples, doing whatever she has to do, she can give it to Zosha after the fact. No, Joe's 1998 Windows PC has crashed. That's why he isn't here. Yeah, no way she's drinking that shit at Carol's house, Kate. Like, there's no chance. Like, Carol would not be kissing her if she was drinking that shit in front of her. So it's got to be that Carol's been cooking for her this whole time. At least that's what I am assuming here. Carol said, make some for you too, or something to the effect in the AM. Okay, that makes sense. Zosha in Carol's dress from the last episode would be fire. Yes, actually I have that as the thumbnail of this particular episode. I end up using a picture from the previous episode for the thumbnail of the next episode because they don't release any high definition pre-episode images. Because Vince is, what I like about the way that they produce things is they're very vague in trailers, they're very vague in descriptions for episodes, and they don't give you a lot, and they let you actually experience it for the first time, which is what I miss about a lot of movies and television, where the trailer or descriptions basically tell you the whole thing that's going to happen. Vince, I think they were at peak during the final season of Better Call Saul with this, where the description of what happens is Saul learned something. You know, Jimmy talks. Like, that's the whole description. And then the preview image for it would just be like a hammer. It'd be like where it says Jimmy learns. It'd be like, what? And Pluribus is kind of adopting that, maybe taking it a step further down the road of a little bit more information, but I enjoy the vagary of it all. But I wish Mano wasn't such a miserable guy. Imagine going from hanging out with Zosha to a guy like that. Yikes. That is going to be an awful quick, awful tough turn. Like, when he's trying to sell himself in this next episode, like ditch her and let's go with me and let's eat dog food and save the world. It's going to be a tough sell. Especially when he's calling her like a maricon or some shit like that. Yeah, 17 days together. Not drinking that milk. Now, by not drinking the milk, being different, is there a case to be made that by spending time away from... No, because she's still part of the hive. But spending time directly with Carol, not eating the same things, doing different things, having a steady sexual relationship and massages and all this stuff individualizes her enough that she's separate from the collective? No. It just means she's a fucking great manipulator. If the collective goes, something happens that needs every member of the collective to join together to start working on some sort of tactic or some sort of building aspect of the antenna, then Zosha would go like this. Zosha would have her arms around Carol, like, love you, blah, 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 blah. Goodbye, Carol. And walk away. That's how much actual loyalty she probably has towards Carol. It's 100% a manipulation. There's no caring here. From Zosha's standpoint, the I love you, we love you all. She loves Carol just as much as she loves any human. Anyone she wishes she's trying to get to turn to their side. There's no actual love there. Not in my mind. I think Joe would be very much like Manos in this world. Not dealing with them, very, very mean, calling his family members motherfuckers. Get out of my fucking face. You're not Phil anymore. I will kill you now. I do. I've said it before. My personality would probably make me like Carol. I would be all tough speaking. Like, I don't need anything. I'm fine. I'm okay. I'm alone. I'm the best. I'm going to be okay. And then isolate myself too long and be easy pickings for manipulation. And that's the state she's in. But will Mano shake her out of that? That's the question that we have to ask going into the finale, because it's not a matter if they will meet. They're going to meet in the finale. And what is going to happen when these fireworks happen? What is going to happen when these fireworks happen? What is going to happen when they meet together? Fireworks. That's what I meant to say. And I don't think Mano is going to appreciate one bit this relationship. I thought it was going to be more hinted at and more the developments of a romantic relationship, but the straight up romantic relationship, sexual relationship that the two of them have. He's not going to be okay with this. And I don't think he's going to try to kill her, but I think it's going to get intense. And he's going to make Carol choose between accepting the gifts and what the hive can offer, or let's take what you've written on this board and let's try to figure this out together and stop this. What will Carol choose? Who will get hurt? All this and more on next week. But yeah, I mean, it's leading us into the finale with a big, giant meatball hanging on a toothpick that's about to break. And I'm excited. I'm excited to see where it takes us, where it ends this season, when we're going to have to wait fucking 2 years or a year and a half for an answer. Is it going to be a big cliffhanger? Is it going to be a satisfying point where we're sort of at a certain section of a plateau? Does it end with her choosing Mano, choosing Zosha, one of them dying? Mano being stopped, Mano saying fuck you Carol and going off and leaving Carol with Zosha, Zosha convincing Carol to want to join the hive, and then her sitting down and getting ready for the operation, but somehow it doesn't work for next season. What do you guys in the live chat and you're listening to this podcast, leave a comment. I know some of you that are listening can leave comments. I've seen your comments before, especially the hateful Joe ones. So leave your comments. What do you think is going to be happening in this season finale? I'm very curious. Let's go to our poll. Our poll with 33 votes. Manos tries to kill Zosha. 76% of the people say that happens. Carol tries to kill Mano. 24%. So most of you that have voted think that Mano is going to try to kill Zosha. I tend to agree. He is going to try in some way, shape, or form, fashion, tactic, try to sever the relationship between Carol and Zosha. He's not going to like it. He's going to see it for what it is, the total manipulation. And he's going to try to rationalize to her first. And that's probably not going to work. And tension is going to rise. The stakes are going to be very high. As Daryl says, I don't know why Mano is going to try to kill Zosha, but he will. Yeah, I don't know why it was going to happen. I don't know exactly how, but I think it's going to happen. I think someone's going to die or be close to getting killed. Although Zosha's almost died how many times this season? Is it 3? She probably is going to survive again. She's like fucking Kenny. You tried to kill Zosha, you bastard. It's going to end with all of us screaming, fuck. I do think you're fucking 100% right about that. Kate says, I believe that the Zosha-Carol relationship will last longer than just one episode. They established it. Is there a way of Carol maintaining this relationship with Zosha while still simultaneously working with Mano to try to solve this? Is there a way of her and Zosha actually convincing Mano to use it more? Like softening his heart, manipulating him at all? I don't think so. But I do think Carol is not going to be unmotivated by him. I think when he shows up, she is going to be reinvigorated with her urge to stop this. But also she's in a situation where if she stops this, she loses Zosha. And now she cares more than she should. So it definitely creates a lot of interesting parallels. I don't know if it's going to be as simple as murder, death, kill, but I also somehow think someone's going to end up dead. But what's interesting is both these characters almost ended up dead earlier in the season. Usually if a character almost dies early in the season, it's not likely to have them die later. So we could just get something more darker and more interesting than I'm imagining. But I do think there's going to be some sort of ultimatum going on. Let's go into the live chat. It's not a coincidence that they created a relationship right before Manos arrives. Absolutely, Ian. It's not a coincidence that they set all of this up in motion right before he arrives. And the next episode is called The Woman of the World. So, yeah, I think it's clear what's going to be happening in the next episode as an overall idea. How it's going to be manifested into actual visual representation on screen is yet to be determined. Kate, they had sex. Now it's time for Zosha to die, says Daryl. Molly says, people are nuts talking about murder. Good Lord, either he's a Catholic trying to help people or he's just a psycho. I don't think it's about him murdering people. It's about him being so frustrated with the manipulation of the world and seeing all of this that he sees all of these people as victims. And he's saving them by killing them. To go to your word for the second half, I think you answered your own point there a little bit. Like, I think in his mind, if we're saying he's going to kill people or want to murder people, it's because he's trying to save them. I think once he knows that there's a possible cure, I don't think he'll ever think about wanting to kill these things. And he didn't. In any situation we've seen him in, he hasn't killed. But I do think he does have a sense of, if I put you out of your misery, I'm saving you. The torture you're in is worse than living. Worse than dying, I mean. So I don't necessarily think it's, oh, he's a psycho, he wants to kill people. I think it's more, that's the way he wants to save them. At least that's how I'm sort of interpreting it myself. Or what I mean when I say murder, right there. And that's also what I mean when he's not going to be a murder bot. I think it's going to be like accidentally killing while trying to save in a weird way. Oh, we got Cause in the live chat. Great to see you, Cause. We've got the amazing coconuts in the live chat. Carol is going to get a earful on her poor romantic choices. Absolutely. At minimum, she's going to get a firm talking to about her choice of partner. He already watched the episode in the stream. We talked about the episode. First time in Albuquerque, two in Spain, 3 hand grenade, 4 truth serum. Oh, how many times she died? She almost died. Thank you. 1 time in Albuquerque, 2 times was in Spain, 3rd time hand grenade, 4th time truth serum. The title says live reaction. Oh, Lucas, sorry. Yeah. It's my live reaction to having just watched the episode. Yeah. But I know what you're saying. This isn't I'm watching it live and reacting to it in the same moment. So sorry about that, double A Lucas, if you were confused with what's going on. If I do one of those things, I usually call it a live watch or a live commentary. This is more a reaction, like this is my live reaction right after I watched it. So sorry about the confusion. But it is awesome to have you here, though. I can see the final moments of the episodes being Manos killing Zosha, maybe Zosha attacking Carol for some reason, and Manos saves her. Interesting. I could also see a point in time where Zosha is killed somehow by Mano accidentally. Carol's left alone because she sends him off because of what happened. And then she tries to join the hive, but somehow it doesn't work. Like, and the season ends with her being like, change me. But I don't know. There's a lot of really fun stuff to analyze and think about between now and early week. Again, if you haven't heard already, the new episode will be airing on Wednesday, which is Tuesday at 9 p.m. So we will be live on Tuesday night at 10:30 p.m. Heather says there is so much BSG homage in this. There really is. There's so much classic sci-fi homage in this series. There's I can't count how many Star Trek references, Battlestar Galactica, someone mentioned The Expanse earlier. It might have been you as well, Heather. We heard the Matrix reference. There's a couple. The whole thing could be viewed as some way as some Matrix analogy compared to like that Joey Pants scene that I've talked about many times. Like, you want to take the blue pill, the red pill, live in this world where they're giving you everything you want or not. There's so many ties into classic science fiction that it's really incredible the way that they have interwoven so many different styles and elements of science fiction energy into the series. You can tell so much care and concern and attention to detail has been placed into the series. Next live stream is, again, Tuesday night at 10:30 p.m. Eastern Time. If you're listening to the audiocast and you want to join us for the finale, please do. But if not, and you have a question or comment, email me at igotissuesman@gmail.com or theissuesguy@gmail.com. Or you can leave a text or a voicemail at 781-990-8509. Yes, a little bit of Invasion of the Body Snatchers, a little bit of a lot of cool things. We've got the amazing Real Cinema Therapy in the live chat. If you haven't already, make sure you check out Real Cinema Therapy's breakdowns of the episodes. Really awesome stuff. And in the off season, we're gonna do a little live stream with Real Cinema Therapy and get some fun discussion and breakdown and talk about some Pluribus stuff and include that as a bonus episode in our podcasting feed as well. And maybe I'll jump over there as well with her and join the fun. So we're going to keep these Pluribus discussions going. It's going to be a fun week, shortened week discussing this. Make sure you check out all the discussions, all the breakdowns about this episode because this was a good one. And I'm curious about your thoughts going into the finale. Everybody, if you haven't already and you enjoyed this, please like it, share it with friends. Oh, no, it was another... I was like, wait a second, is this another captain's chair? Is this another recap? No, it's not a recap. It is. We don't have to wait a week. I'll be back on Tuesday night. If you enjoyed this, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. If you're listening to the audiocast, give me some star ratings or whatever the fuck you do. What are you doing in the podcast? Give me the ratings. Give me the things. Say hello. But no, I appreciate all your support all season. It's been an amazing season on the podcast. And I love you guys. We will be back on Tuesday evening. I will definitely be back alone. I might have a special guest doing the recap with me, but we will see. But if not, I have lots of off-season fun for you guys. Anyways, talk to you next time. Bye. Thank you to all the new faces that joined tonight. Heather, it was more fun with you here. I really do mean that. Thank you, Gary. Thank you, Iron Throne. Thank you, Sonic. Thank you, all of our good buddies. Real Cinema Therapy. Haymaker, thanks for calling on in. One more, guys. One more. Hope you join us again, Heather. Tony's right. Tony's right. Tony's right. Making me blush, Heather. Thank you.